Right. So, hi guys, this is Fadzlin. All right, and we would like to welcome each and every one of you. And in this current COVID-19 situation we are all facing, right, most of us find it really difficult to meet each other face to face now. So this is what we have come up with, I guess, right, doing teleconferencing via Zoom. Right. So I am very lucky today to be joined by a couple of good friends, right, tonight. And let me just introduce each and every one of them. First of all, let's start with Rijal. Rijal, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Oh, hi everyone. My name is Ridjal Noor, and I'm the founder and director of pullupstand.com and WGL. Yeah.
Right. So the next one will be Effendi. Effendi, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Effendi. I am the founder and MD of a company called Aria Data Labs. We are in the business intelligence and analytics space.
Right. Right. So the next one will be Shawal. Shawal, you want to
Right,
introduce yourself?
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum
Yes,
salam.
My name is Shawal. I'm a co-founder and also the director of Muslim Valley Singapore and Muslim Valley Malaysia. So our customer base is Singapore mainly and also worldwide customers. That's for now.
Okay, thank you. All right. So the next one, this guy with these amazing sunglasses of his,
Yeah.
he is none
Hey,
other than Adlee. Adlee, you want to introduce yourself, Adlee?
okay. Yeah. My name is Adlee. So I'm a director of a few companies like Nigel Herbs, Millennium Herbs, Buy Herbs, A2A Trading, Umu Masala,
Oh,
and a few others. I also can't remember. Okay, that's all.
okay, to those of you guys who have not known exactly who I am, I'm actually from Mega Express International, and I organize exhibitions at Singapore Expo. Right? Okay, so tonight discussion will basically be on the current business context, especially so in these trying times of the COVID-19 situation. And we all know that each and every one of us know and recognize that we are all going to be in bad times, I would say times of recession. I'm sure all of us will agree on that. Right. So let's discuss on each other business then. So far, the challenges that we are facing right now, and how do we overcome from that? Maybe I can start it with Effendi first.
I think to be frank, my business is a new setup. So unfortunately, we are perhaps the timing is bad. Maybe not too bad. I just give you a bit of background, right, to what we are doing, so that uh, we understand a bit more why I say that. We are actually a software development house. We are developing our own product in the legal tech industry. So as it is right now, we are projecting for our product to be launched in 1.5 years' time. So ultimately, what's happening today doesn't exactly impact. But nonetheless, as a small startup, we are continuously looking for funding or project that keep the company alive. Fortunately, when we started this, we got a small project that can keep the team alive for about 1.5 years. So alhamdulillah, that's good, but it's not convenient, of course. And it's a government project. Unfortunately, there's no work from home. I have to be on site. So far, it's BAU or business as usual for me as far as that's concerned. But I see it's a challenge definitely to find smaller new project to keep us moving forward. I mean, as you know, every businesses wants to have a bit of buffer, right, just in case you need more funding or more there are unexpected expenses.
Right. Right. So, uh, how do you reckon that you can overcome this certain wave of recession? What do you expect to see?
So as it is right now, as I said, our our core client is actually is the government agency.
Right.
Their projects are still happening. Right? And in fact, we are actually seeing uh, increase in scope, which basically means more work and of course more money for us, right? I think so that is going to happen. In fact, as we speak right now, there are still a couple more projects in the pipeline as far as the government side is concerned. So what I would say is that for people who are in this particular industry services and uh, and have the capacity to do government type of project, that's where they should focus on. I think people who are actually targeting toward retailers or toward very small establishment, it will be a struggle. I can't imagine myself being there because I know it will struggle. I will struggle. I think everybody else will struggle as well.
How's
The
yours?
based on today's budget, I think what was interesting is the fact that of the wage support scheme that's being offered by the government.
Okay.
So at a 25% salary
Subsidy.
rebate subsidy, I think that will go a long way. The government are still offering a lot of professional conversion program, which we could use for mm, our our staff above 30 to 40 years old. Actually, is above 30, right? So above 30 to all the way to 65. Actually, those the amount of salary subsidy for that is actually quite a lot. So, for example, if you're above 40, the government pays up to $6,000 a month of your salary, and some of this PCP scheme is for 1 year. So, which basically means that's quite a lucrative amount. So, in fact, that's that's the strategy we will employ to keep our funding alive.
I see.
Wait, how many staff do you have? What's your structure of your company? What's your overheads?
So actually, right now we have 5 person because we are actually doing our internal software development on a platform developed by IBM. So what we are actually doing is analyzing legal judgment for law firm to use to prepare for cases in court.
Oh,
So as you know, the process of preparing for a court case is that uh, uh, a junior lawyer or paralegal, based on, let's say, in a criminal case where somebody is charged, you will, somebody has to go through the precedent cases and so on and so forth. It's a very laborious manual process. We are actually automating that, not to replace the lawyers, but to augment and to make sure that they can zoom down to exactly the most relevant cases.
but do you see the lawyers in maybe 15 years down the road to be, irrelevant to society, where you can just, plug into software or to AI and then, use that to fight the cases yourself, or I mean, I don't know. How is it? Do you see that?
I think the interesting thing about law, right, is the fact that while everybody can understand the law, what's in the penal code or so on and so forth, but ultimately, what's practiced in the English law, the Commonwealth law, is the fact that how the lawyer present and argue is the most important thing. So that will still be a challenge. I don't think man in the street can present an argument cohesively.
True.
So it's still a profession that will stand through the test of time.
It will last, but the nature of the work will be changed. So your expectation of the lawyer will be different, right? Because now they can zoom into it. They know exactly what's relevant, what's not relevant, in matter of minutes rather than days,
Yes.
and present the argument in court. So now, because they have more time to prepare, you would expect that they come up with a better argument.
Mm.
True.
Okay, so you are doing coding, is it? Are you a coder or something, Effendi?
I'm more I'm more a product owner, but I can do I do everything. I do software implementation. I do coding as well. I don't do so much of it anymore, but
Okay.
because we are small, I have to roll up my sleeve and start doing some of this thing as well.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Effendi. Let's now go to Shawal. Shawal, you are based in JB, Malaysia, right?
Yes.
Okay, maybe you can just brief us how the situation is like in JB right now.
Of course, the situation in JB is now under MCO and more critical, or more control than in Singapore right now. So basically, most of us we are just staying home, and we just leave our house to go to groceries, to go to market, and yeah. So actually, basically, the road are almost empty. Yeah, and everybody, what I see this week, almost 90% of the people outside, they're wearing mask, and they are more, what I call this, discipline on social distancing.
Oh, what does MCO stand for?
Marvel
Movement
Comic.
Control Order.
Oh, okay.
Movement Control Order.
Yes.
Okay, so cannot move. Oh, you mean outside lah? You cannot go outside. Okay, okay.
Yes, yes.
The shops are very
You
much
can still
open, right?
dance and do whatever in your house.
Shawal, the shops are very much open, right?
The
Yeah,
shop
this is
limited, only kedai runcit, groceries. You don't. All offices are closed. Post office are closed. Yeah. Maintenance like car workshop is closed. So almost everything is closed except for groceries. Banks are open.
Okay.
And I'm frustrated. Money changer is closed. Yeah, actually that's critical actually.
okay. So is Mr. Tony selling off his extra nasi lemak Pak Malau or how is it?
I'm not really a fan of Mr. Tony, and I have
Fan
to
of
reduce and cut down. I'm not a fan of Mr. Tony since, and also nasi lemak also is not good for, not too much. I need to lose weight.
I see.
uh,
No, I mean just to digress, Chairman, because the airline industry is almost on its knees. Just wondering whether Fernandez know what's he up to, because he's really budget, so whether it's really sustainable or not. So I'm just wondering what's happening to him.
Yeah, now they have a new tagline. Now everybody
Okay.
cannot fly.
everybody, every airline.
Yeah. So for us, for my company, like you said, we are based in JB. So all of my staff is working from home.
Okay.
Because we are e-commerce company. So fortunately, so my staff, most of them, I would say only one can work from home. The rest they can do their work from home.
Okay.
And Alhamdulillah, sales is going as per normal for online. But my concern is fulfillment.
Mhm.
Fulfillment.
Okay, I
So
understand
we
that
have
there's some
stocks. Yeah, we have stocks that's already sold out,
right.
or stocks that we ordered from Saudi, from Indonesia. So I'm concerned if we can reach Singapore on time.
Right.
Yeah,
So
and
So in fact, this
especially
is a very good situation for you, right? Because it's 100% online and
yes,
not much effect on sales except for fulfillment is a problem.
Mm.
correct. Once my products and stocks is in Singapore, I feel safe. So as long as it's still out there, not in Singapore, then there's a concern.
okay, the big question is how do you try to overcome this? Or what plans do you have in order to overcome this?
So what I do is I have whatever stocks that I have in Singapore,
Okay.
I'm pushing that first. Then stocks that I'm confident I can get, and I think what I'm doing now is I do a pre-order, and delivery will be inshallah end of April.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So that
because
will be in time.
For Muslim Valley, our method is we allow cash on delivery, and there isn't a need to put any deposit. So with that, customer feel comfortable. They do not need to fork out any money until they have the product in their hands.
Okay, okay. So for Shawal case, I think he is very much confident that his products will be in time for Ramadan and before Raya lah, hopefully, inshallah. Right.
I
Inshallah.
heard now there is an ESG grant, is it, to set up an e-commerce platform where companies can actually apply and get grant from the government if they are not online already. Is that
Hmm.
true?
This the
Is
Go
it
Digital Go Digital initiative.
really?
Let me Google it.
Okay.
SME Go Digital. It's IMDA punya.
Uh,
Yeah.
Actually, now with the current situation, what we see, there's a lot of companies or even small-time individuals,
mm,
small startups. What they do, they want to do online as well. They want to start selling online, set up e-commerce and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not as easy as it looks.
Mm.
Setting up a e-commerce platform, a website, shopping cart, everything is not tough. But getting the customers to to purchase it, to get traffic to your website, and to know what customer wants. Not all product actually suitable for online sales. So you need to understand what customer want. Then you have to source for that product, and after that, then you can see there will be sales.
but what if I see you as Muslim Valley, then I go through your products, then what if I acquire those products, then suddenly I start an e-commerce, then I get uh, marketing gurus to market, and then will that be competition directly with you that can be done within the next 1-2 weeks? Do you see that happening?
Okay. Like I say again, so when customer want to start order, let's say you run marketing, FBS and everything, then you
Uh,
need a staff to manage the customers. So it
mm,
takes time for you actually to train staff how to handle customers, how
mm,
to the copywriting, how do you
mm.
persuade customers, what are the strategies, how do you upsell, you know, how do you cross sell. So all that skills actually it takes time for you to train your staff. So you can't do it overnight. You may hire somebody to run FBS for you and you get traffic, but how you want to close the customer is another thing.
Okay.
So it's not as easily said. I mean, is it to do than to just say, lah? No? Is that correct?
Yes, it's really correct. It's not easy.
And then now we are thinking, I mean, looking at the near future, I mean, the Ramadan is coming, the bazaars are off, and then people are telling, no, go digital, go digital, go digital. But is it really, just a mantra that can, just a mantra, or is it something that companies can, or small businesses can actually go digital and actually, make some money, or change their business model?
Like I say again, to set up is not tough. It's quite easy, and you can just outsource it easily. But to market it and to convince customer, to do online. Actually, if you go, you look at even established companies in Singapore, Malay Muslim companies. I won't mention any names. They have websites and everything. And what I see is their website is not managed well. And because for online products, customer can't touch it. So you need to have good photo shoots. You need to do proper video so that when the customer look at the photos, customer look at the video as if they feel that they're holding the product. So then that's how you convince customer. And for supplements, it's easier to close customer if you have video testimonial and some screenshot testimonials. Yeah.
Okay, okay, I totally agree.
Currently, yeah.
I mean, what Adli already mentioned pertaining to companies going online, especially so with the current situation where Ramadan Bazaars will definitely be cancelled this year, right? So, Rijal, my next question to you is, do you think going online is the way to go right now?
I think the government for the past few years have been telling SMEs to go online. Have been telling companies and businesses to go online. So now people see the urgency. If you're talking about the bazaar, yeah, everybody sees the urgency. But overall, I would say a lot of SMEs see the urgency of going online. Tapi kalau you talk in the context of bazaar kan, I think it's going to become very messy. Now you already have people starting the FB group and everybody just posting, but everything gets lost in the whole thread, the wall kan. So is messy, and then now you have many parties starting their own portals. So almost everyone I know lah. I think SMCCI wants to do their own, WGS wants to do their own, kan? And so there's going to be small pockets everywhere. Everybody's going to be selling. But I think yesterday when I was talking to Sujimi,
Right.
Sujimi already got started with the kedaisujimi.com, and he has the game plan already for it. So he has macam you would say a first mover's advantage in a sense, and he partners with Zaid Talib. So I think he's got a head start in that sense, and he knows that you have to push it not just with products on a platform, but also with storytelling and make it like an online punya apa ni? So you know those Astro punya shopping network punya kind of platform, kan?
Correct.
Yeah.
I
So
think-
you have to entertain people at the same time.
I think one way of how he pushed it is by doing interviews on his merchants itself, those business owners who participate with him in kedaisujimi.com, if I'm not wrong. That's how he pushed it.
Correct. It's got to be like television.
Right.
You have to engage. You have to get traffic on your platform. Stay there, watch your content, and then they buy. Yeah, like what Shawal said lah. You cannot just take a simple photo, paste, and then like what they're doing now in the FB group, right? They just share their own photos, and then they're hoping for sales. And you actually in that page, the problem is now in that page you've got all the sellers there, but do you have the customers there or not? Are the customers coming to that page?
Correct.
Tak semua orang sellers je. Yeah.
Correct. Effendi,
So
what do you
it's
think of it,
yeah. Siapa?
Effendi?
Now I was, I'm listening to this. This is a very interesting conversation, right? Because I think, to be frank, I thought Shawal has done very well. Shawal has done very well. As you said rightly, developing the platform is easy, but it's actually the business strategy behind it and the operation behind it that drives the actual business, right? Is the marketing, is the promotion, and all that. I think that's where it is that a lot of people neglect or take for granted lah. Tapi on the other hand, what I'm thinking about for bazaar sellers, a lot of them actually just do it during the bazaar period. It could be that this is a strategy just for them to fulfill during this period and end of story. But I don't think they can go on and on and on because they'll just die natural death. So this is one thing. But I've been thinking quite a bit about this, right? When this COVID virus issue came about, is the fact that ultimately what Shawal has said earlier was important, is actually the fulfillment. So the end game is who can deliver not just fast but reliably.
Yep.
Is the one that's going to get the market.
True.
I mean, just to share with you, right, on a bigger scale, if you look at the commodity market, right, which is of course billions of dollars, right? Actually, everybody knows the selling price and everybody knows the buying price because it's all open in the internet. Everybody can find it. But where they make profit is actually the in between, the transportation, the way, the logistics, the warehousing. So the same principle goes to any online seller, because if Ridjal sell a pen for $2 and Shawal sell it for $2.10, but I know that in the past that Shawal has been very reliable. I know that I can get my goods delivered within 1 week. Ridjal punya delivery sometimes datang, sometimes tak datang, or today make an appointment but don't appear until 3 days later, then it becomes a problem, right? There is no reliability, there's no credibility. So I think this is far more important than just having the platform. And I think the other thing was the fact that someone spoke to me about this. For some people, they don't even have to build e-commerce platform for themselves, because you have Shopify, you have Lazada, and so on and so forth that you can write on. But I still believe that they need a proper website that gives people the impression that they are a proper business. Because in Lazada, there's a lot of fly-by-night business as well, right? Barang cakap lain, sampai lagi lain. I've had bad experiences with those as well. So I think this is what sellers need to think about.
Okay. My next question is addressed to Adlee. Adlee, you are actually a business owner of multiple businesses, correct?
Yes.
And most of your businesses are offline. So in these current times, will you be going into the online track now as we speak?
One of the reasons why I'm also actually my company one of them is buy herbs, right? So it's really strong online actually. Daily sales online and direct is really quite good on a daily basis. So
How about your
this
other
is one of the
offline
reasons.
businesses?
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I sort of merge my business with this business is to learn actually how to do online. And the thing for me is like what Effendi said, online is a technology or it is a tool where you enhance your business. At the end of the day, it's how you fulfill the promises that you make with your customers, how you send the goods, and how they trust you. And all these things are the same 1,000 years ago and now. It's just that the technology used as platform to sell is different. And at the end of the day, most businesses like I mean, for me, I'm in education, right? I mean, one of the good things about like preschool childcare is we are dependent on the government's regulations, and it's a steady business where everybody has to send their child and all that. But there's another sector where I'm in, like I'm doing a lot of enrichment classes and all that. So because I'm offline in this aspect, so now that a lot of tuition centers, a lot of enrichment centers, all in fact being told to stop their classes. So this is where I probably lose out in the way that I don't have an online platform to carry on the classes, right? And this is also quite bad. I mean, especially for like our asatizas, like example, they're going to homes, they're teaching part time at the masjid or at the centers, and then suddenly classes are stopped, and then when classes are stopped, naturally their income is also cut off like that. So recently we hear we've heard about the initiative from Pergas. They're setting up a fund, for all these asatizas that are having their incomes cut off just like that. But I also want to urge like everyone, like people keep telling, no, so now this month classes are cancelled, so I don't want to pay my school fees. But the reality is, the providers, they are still paying their rent, they're still having admin staff, and they're still having full-time staff, even though it's a weekly part-time courses, but they have to have full-timers to run these courses actually. So who's gonna pay for all these things, So I'm urging, that our community also, just because it's like example for all these assets, just because it's like maybe kelas mengaji ke apa, just don't take it for granted, that I don't want to pay, I don't need to pay. But when we don't do that, we are like stopping the cash flow. Cash is currency, you need to flow. When you hoard it, when you stop it, then there's gonna be some effect, negative effect down the stream. So if we continue to pay our school fees so that these centers, they are able to run or they're able to tide through the tough times that we are facing right now. So and then I think this is also important that we educate our own community, especially if we are in this kind of scenarios, that we understand that businesses are there to survive also. I mean, imagine if I'm a worker in an office, or example, if I'm a government servant, and then suddenly there's an announcement by the civil service that there is 2-week closure of all offices. So we are happy, you know. But then again, the first question you ask, am I going to get paid for these 2 weeks or not? See, the government, if they close down the office, surely they will pay the salaries, right? So there is no worry. But imagine if it's a private thing, you know. I mean, if the asatizah, they're teaching suddenly there's no classes for 2 weeks, for 1 month. I mean, surely we have to have that kind of empathy in our hearts that, no, I need to try to see how I can support these people also. Like some of my younger children, they are going for swimming classes. For 3 months now, we have stopped swimming classes, but still we are paying the trainer, you know, just so that, you know, she could at least get something. You know, it's not just about asatiza; it's also about small timers coaches. You know, like swimming coaches, silat trainers. You know, horse riding trainers and all that. So we really have to empathize and lend our helping hands. Like if we are in a stable position, at least we should appreciate these things and we should understand that life is not just about us, it's larger than that.
Okay. Adli
In
was
the
mentioning.
every month I've been taking Asia, so I should also give some money to Tony. And this month, last month I never take Asia. Because they are too big. I don't care about them.
Too big to fall.
Okay, guys. Adli was mentioning about support coming in from the community, right? Rijal, you are in SMCCI and you sit with the board. What do you think the support is going to be like from the community, especially in these current times?
During this time is when you get to see the significance and value of being together. So in SMCCI, those who are in the clusters, like wedding cluster, F&B, retail, all that, they band together and when they look for answers, you know, they turn to each other. There's the support system there. They know who to look for, and then together they can raise their concerns and the needs. And then with the board, macam, for example, chairman like Bang Kino and Mr. Ali Abbas, you know, they go directly to ESG or SFA or MTI or MOH to get the answers, and then they can share the answers with the members, rather than you're grappling around and then everybody is sharing news which is unverified. And because I mean, actually the problem with the times you are in now, macam COVID-19 ni kan, is that we are bombarded with so much news, and we overload of information,
True.
trying to verify which is true, which is not true, and it causes a lot of anxiety for business owners. Yeah. So
I think
SMCI right now we have our task forces set up and we are moving ahead. So the two task forces that we have, one is to support the businesses, and the other one is to push them towards the transformation. Yeah.
Okay. I'll just like to sidetrack a little bit, and I know that this is definitely not under your purview, but we already seen that there are a couple of industries already being affected by the current COVID-19 situation. One of them is events, and that is where I come in. And we have seen currently education is also affected as well. Let's don't talk about travel industry that has been hard hit as well, right? So when it comes to wedding, because I know wedding because we do exhibitions for wedding at Singapore Expo. How do you think these wedding vendors or wedding owners can utilize online, or whatever tips that you have for them in these times? What do you think?
This question is open to everyone, and
I think it opens to everyone.
Just
maybe.
to you.
just to me. Okay, Mr. Internal Auditor, I think we are sitting down together and brainstorming ideas with all the wedding cluster vendors. These are unprecedented times. I mean, we've never had to face times like this where you can only have less than 10 people. Macam mana run weddings kan? Yeah, right now we are scrambling. I mean, many of the members are scrambling because they have taken booking deposits and all that. And we have weddings this weekend, next weekend, which are being cancelled. So they are grappling with all this. When you ask about how to take this online, I think nobody has answers for that. How to take weddings online? Yeah.
I think that's a question that all of us needs to come together and brainstorm and come and hopefully come out
There
with a
was a
solution.
recent case, right, where the couple actually issued a legal suit against the wedding
Letter of
vendor,
agreement. Yeah.
right? Which I
Okay.
think it's not so appropriate lah to me. I don't know what you guys think about that,
Okay,
given the current conditions.
that's a very interesting case. Right? I saw the post on Facebook. I don't understand the backstory. I think based on what I understood in terms of what was in the demand letter, is the fact that the wedding organizer has given notice to the couple that they cannot carry out the event, and the couple in retaliation has demanded for their deposit to be returned. So the question is, to be frank, I would say it sounds like a fair request, right? You can't do it. That I don't know. I mean, I should get at least some part of the money back. But of course, this is a force majeure situation whereby maybe there's a cancellation fee that the organizer can hold back. But if you say, well, you put a 50% down payment, and because I can't carry out and I can't refund the money, sounds a bit questionable for me. I don't know what you all think, because I'm not in this industry, but as an outsider looking in, I thought it's a bit strange.
This is a good opportunity during these times to tighten up the SOPs, the contracts and the agreements and cancellation policy. Because many vendors might not have that in place. Just shake hands and we trust each other and we go on with the booking 50%, you pay me. There's no proper written contracts that spell out all the clause if you want to break. Jadi case like this where the wedding is this weekend and then they have paid a deposit, let's say 10,000 apa, but they will also must understand that the vendor dah bayar deposit also. They also have paid for the venue most likely and to order all the ingredients for cooking, and so it puts them in a very hard place if you cancel 4 days away from the event. But again, the cancellation pun is because because of the newly imposed rulings like you can't have more than 10 people or 250 people. So just now you use the term force majeure kan, tapi actually force majeure belum come into play yet lah. That's why like Adlee said.
So that's the situation, right? If you cancel 2 weeks beforehand, for example, I issue a cancellation, but now I'm issuing organizer is issuing a cancellation. Right? It's not the couple who is issuing cancellation. So we assume, let's assume that they have to pay down payment for so on and so forth for venue or whatever it is. But I'm sure at 2 weeks beforehand, I haven't bought most of my cooking ingredients, for example. I mean, I don't know, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
So this
Google, Facebook.
So this is quite. I mean, it's quite interesting because I really don't know how it will work, right? Because what's actually fair to everybody. But if you listen earlier during the budget announcement,
correct, the deposit refunds, right?
Yeah, they actually specifically talk about this because this is obviously a major problem across all races, right? Everybody, who needs to organize an event, pay a down payment.
And I think it's not
So
only
what
wedding.
happens-
I think it happens on any transaction, I guess.
Right. I mean, I just want to share with you. I just signed a contract for an exhibition in November, maybe October, somewhere around there, right? And I sat down with the organizer and I said, look, because basically their term and conditions say cancellation is 50%. Whatever down payment is gone, right? And you need a 6 months notice for cancellation. Actually, right now I don't even have 6 months to September, right? So to me it's a moot. But I told them, look, this is a situation that's fast evolving. I don't know I'm taking a risk. At the moment, I know almost nobody will come to this event, right? But we are hoping that everything will go through by August. All the restriction is off. So I basically asked for a clause to be put in to say, if at that point of time, 4 weeks beforehand, Singapore is in DOSCON rate, or Singapore actually has two countries that's banned from coming into Singapore, I have the right to terminate at no cost. I mean, I insisted on that because I thought, otherwise I'm stupid, right? There's nothing, as it is today, nothing is going to happen. And I actually signed a contract with them. I mean, but that's what I thought was fair. But, for wedding, I'm not sure how it will work.
Yeah, talking about signing of contracts and all that, that's why I think a lot of businesses, they fail to look at the fine print because as we all know, the devil is in the details, right? I mean, it's not only about having a contract for exhibitions, and you are right, Effendi. I mean, you should also negotiate with them that this is 6 months and then the situation is really we don't know what's going to happen next, right? So it's only fair that you negotiate for such a clause or such an event. I just want to add on that. Sorry. I just want to, divert a bit. I mean, like for new businesses, right, or for businesses when sometimes they lose or they go down or they go under because of their tenancy agreement. Because a lot of companies, right, they sign tenancy agreement in excitement that they're going to start their business, but they fail to see that while signing the agreement, they are actually putting their names under personal guarantee for that tenancy agreement. So this is something that I learned, and this is something that I never do in any tenancy agreement. I will never put myself as a personal guarantor for that agreement. I mean, should anything happen to the business, that you never know, at least I can get out of it as fast as possible without having the pain of libel suits coming my way. So this is something that we have to learn as business people, or especially for those who are starting out, and know that please negotiate, please look through all your contracts and all the details, so that you don't get caught. Okay, sorry.
So you're right? So now, I mean, that was why I when this happened, I said start looking at the term and condition very, very carefully, right? Because otherwise you're signing something blind. But what I thought was interesting, I think a lot of people were saying that, will the government give a rental waiver, for example? Of course, the Singapore government will never ever do that, right? Because your negotiation with your landlord is a private negotiation. You might pay 10,000, somebody else might pay 8,000, then who gets, will they have to pay differently for everyone? So that can never happen. But on the other hand, right, I think today all landlords will be worried if somebody closed down because they cannot get a replacement. Maybe it's a good opportunity to sit down with the landlord and say, look, times are bad, let's sign a new contract and go from there and build all the contingency in there, because I think that's an opportunity that everyone who has a tenancy contract for lease or for rental should be able to do.
Yeah, I think even banks have been approaching business owners and all that, asking, now is a good time for you guys to reprice or even recontract. We are actually giving you guys a better pricing because government is coming in to help, and our interest rate is much lower. So I think landlords, as you already mentioned, Effendi, you're right, should come up to your tenants and all that and ask them, hey, look, do you want to come down and sit down and talk about the contract, and is there any possibility we can recontract, right?
I think it's not just the landlord. I think the renter should do it because the landlord definitely don't want to lose them. So in fact, it's a renter's market, right? You can afford to pay the rent. The landlord definitely want you there because if you go, they cannot find it's not easy for them to find a replacement. I think that's the situation we're in. If today you are willing to do this, you are definitely it's a buyer's market.
Okay. All right. Ridjal, you got anything you want to add?
I think landlords are still holding on. They're still arrogant right now. Belum kena lagi, betul.
Yeah, true.
In a month's time, then we will see the development.
Okay. I think Adli did mention something about startups. You know, those people who are new in business, uh, they have to ensure that their contracts is being written properly, right? So as not to basically to prevent any complication in times to come. All right. So that comes up. That makes me want to ask Shawal, from your experience, because you have been dealing with a lot of business owners through your e-commerce platform. In these current times, especially when we see a lot of people being forced to leave or forced to resign, being retrenched, do you think that is a good time for these people who has just been retrenched, been just being put down? Do you think it's a good time for them to start a business?
I think if you start a business because of desperation and it's not because of your passion, then it's quite tough. But sometimes, when it's this kind of situation, you are forced to do it. Okay. When you want to start something, always you need always to remember, jangan ikut nafsu. Okay. And you must learn before you do anything. I know what I call this time is short and everything, but you can't just skip the learning part and just venture into something that you don't know at all. You know, so times when I remember when I started my, because I've been full time for 8 years. So before that, I do two businesses, and it failed because I know nothing and I think it's easy. I just do it, so I burn money. So then after that, when I start going to find mentors, business coach, everything, then things becomes better. So if you are being retrenched and you have X amount of money, you must spend it on education and educating yourself first. Go and find a good business coach, business mentor. And like myself, I always recommend Coach Rafi. He's really good into all this, so you don't burn money. Yeah, you must learn. Okay. Then and after that, like I say again, jangan what you call this, spend what is necessary. And kalau boleh online, do it online. And kalau if you can, because previously I have this one guy in Malaysia, dia sibuk nak buka gym sendiri. He's a fitness instructor. But I told him is that there's so many gyms yang kosong. What I suggested to him is that you have that amount of money and it's not that much and you can sustain over 6 months kalau you punya gym tak ada membership. So the best thing kalau boleh you do something different. You beli ataupun sewa lease one nice van and you can go mobile. So you don't have a very big overhead. That is one example. Okay, and about this current cases where you mentioned about bazaar dah tak ada semua everything. So to me it is such a short time for you to set up an e-commerce platform on your own, especially if you don't have the experience. You may have 20 years of bazaar experience offline, but online is totally a different ball game. So the best way is for you to look for established platform and collaborate with them. So like you mentioned just now, Kedai Sujimi, that's a good platform to go to. Even Muslim Valley, we open. For us, we also have some business owner who put their stock on consignment under Muslim Valley.
Okay.
Yeah, so you use our platform, and we already have a steady fulfillment team. So then it's a win-win situation. So you minimize the risk. I think that's what they should do.
I think Rijal did mention earlier something about a Facebook group being very messy because everybody tends to start posting, not knowing whether there would be any bias that's in that particular group, right? Because most of them, as you can see, are sellers, right?
Right. Yeah.
Rijal, what do you think? I mean, is it encouraged for people to go up online now, creating different groups and all that, promoting each other's services or individual services in that sense? What do you think?
Like I said, it's very messy. I'm looking at the group now, Bazaar Ramadan. There's 17,000 members there. I think it was only set up like 1 week ago, kan? The 12,000 members. That's very good. I mean, and they're selling things. And the most recent post that I can see here, banyak yang tak ada like, satu like, dua like. So they are starting this now, and it's not even Ramadan yet. In 1 month's time, will there be fatigue, or will people really buy? How can we see the sales? But I think as a event organizer, you pun tahu, dia punya bazaar punya sales dengan online sales, can it match up to the bazaar kind of sales?
Yeah. No.
Dia punya speed of transaction.
Yeah. I mean,
Volume
of course.
they can move.
Yeah. I mean, of course, offline. I've always been into offline. So when it comes to online, this is something quite new to me as well. Right. So I
Because
think.
people are saying that the amount of money that they pay for the for the booth, and they can pump it into online marketing. What do you think about that?
Okay, I've always championed the fact when it comes to business marketing, you have to marry both online and offline together. So in my exhibition, when it comes to offline, I usually encourage our vendors to use online, and to create that marketing, to create that presence in order to direct traffic back to offline. Right? But now we are talking about online, where they need to funnel that presence, right, into their online landing page or landing space, right? So that is a challenge for everyone. For me personally, I feel that it's always good to go to, for example, Sujimi, kedaisujimi.com. It's like a marketplace. I think that is what we are trying to do as well in Mega Express. We are trying to create a marketplace where most of our vendors can come in together and we help them to market their products, to showcase their products. And it has to be systematic and it has to be organized in that sense. Right? Rather than just going into a Facebook group and start posting, not knowing whether people actually buy from your postings and all that. Yeah, that is what I think.
I might be very wrong. Actually, they are moving merchandise. I don't know. Betul tak tahu. What do you think, Shawal? Through the Facebook group.
I joined the Facebook group. What you call this? Like you say lah. Oh, there's a lot of sellers, much more than buyers. For the e-commerce, my main concern yang sekarang, if you're talking about Bazaar Ramadan nak jadi online, and you see, we're talking about kuih raya, makanan that's related to hari raya, and there's a time frame to delivery. Just for your information, like for us, like last year, during the what you call this, I can say Muslim Valley with the Australian, we do about 1,000 deliveries within 20 days, and that is tough, And so if you don't have that experience, I'm very concerned. Like for this year, there'll be a lot of upset customers because they start buying online from those who has no experience. Then they realize that they cannot fulfill. It is really scary actually. Fulfillment is really a big, heavy responsibilities. And as for Kuih Raya especially, delivery is one thing, but what happened kalau kuih tu hancur, that's why. So I have experience before, so that's why I dare to say it's not easy for Kuih Raya.
Okay, Shawal, for the benefit of our viewers, right, some of them might not understand the term fulfillment. So where does fulfillment comes in? Maybe you can just explain.
Okay, so you market your product online kat Facebook or website whatsoever. Then customer order, you receive the order. Then you need to pack. Okay, so first step, there will always be a percentage where what customer order and what your staff or your team pack will be a wrong product. There's a percentage of it. Okay, so there's a list over there. Then after that, delivery. That means from your warehouse or from your house, you want to send to customer. That is the last final mile delivery. So that is the part which is kind of tough, because if you have good sales, you need to rush for delivery. When you rush for delivery, if you don't prepare the vehicle well, and what you call this, everything is in a rush, nanti kuih akan hancur and customer is not happy. And as you know, Singaporean customers, they have very high expectation. Just want to share, I do have experience where, let's say you purchase a kuih tart dalam ada 50 pieces. Satu kuih tart pecah sikit, customer minta tukar the whole bottle. So that is the kind of challenges that you are going to face. Yeah. Kalau you sell offline, dia kasih you duit, you just hand over, you dah lega dah. Customer dah pegang dah makanan tu hancur sampai rumah, kau punya pasal. But now customer receive at their house, pecah satu, dia akan tukar. There will be a lot of customer macam-macam perangai. Kata kuih tak sedap dan minta tukar. Then for us, we always value our customer, so we do a one-to-one exchange without any question asked, or we fully refund. So just want to share a story. Pernah sekali customer tu ada satu produk ni, kita punya kerepek, dia kata tak sedap, lemau. So they asked to one-to-one exchange 3 botol tak silap. So when my team go and deliver, that 3 botol tinggal setengah saja. Yang lemau tu. So there are people who take advantage.
Lemau tapi sedap.
So these are the scenarios, and they can be quite, because you see, online customer dengan offline customer different tau. Bila you offline, you jumpa the shop owner dengan the customer face to face, diorang segan. But when you go online, semua jadi hang jebat, hang lekiu semua. So diorang berani, and with their words semua, and their demand, their expectation. So kita kena layan. So like for Kuih Raya, we have been doing it for 10 years. So that is what we face. And we have to nak jaga reputation. Sometimes we just tutup sebelah mata lah. We just tukar je lah. Just to make our customer happy.
I think what Shawal raised is a very important point lah. Those offline punya merchants going online kan, have to really be very careful whether they mar their reputation. Jangan melata, jangan complain pasal customer, bitch about them, just because of 1 or 2 transactions that go sour. They have to take care of their reputation. Jangan nanti diorang pergi online, they are not ready for it. They just throw shit over their own face. They have to be very careful.
I think this is a very important point, kan? Because while doing kuih or anything along that line, I see a lot of complaints by the seller about the buyer. It's very uncomfortable to read, because it masks your reputation as a seller more than the buyer. I think the second thing that most likely that we don't take into account is the fact that when you go physically into a bazaar, sometimes your sales are good simply because people have impulse buy. People don't have the same impulse buy online, because sometimes barang RM3 pun put in the cart, 1 minggu pun belum beli kan, masih fikir dan compare. But you go to a bazaar, I say, macam sedap Well, sometimes I'm very picky. For example, I don't eat a lot of kuih. But sometimes you go, so this kuih tart look quite nice. You don't even tak cuba pun but then you just buy it. But this is not going to happen when you're online. So there's no less impulse buying in that sense.
Yeah. That's why I mentioned just now, the photo shoot is very important.
Presentation online
Presentation, must ambil gambar cantik-cantik, setting, jadi orang tengok gambar tu orang rasa berselera. Tengok gambar nampak sedap. Copywriting just jangan over sangat lah kan.
Selling through the pictures and videos lah.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and past customers testimonials. Yeah, that's important.
That's very important.
How you convince people.
Correct. Yeah. Okay, Adlee, very.
So, Mr.
Yes.
Fadzlin, I want to ask you now.
Okay, before that, can I ask you first?
Okay.
Okay, very difficult question.
How many words to answer? 200 words? 300 words?
Okay, some business owners who is viewing or who is watching our what do you call it, our video might be asking, nak bikin online macam susah gitu based on whatever we've already discussed. Habis masuk Facebook group pun it looks messy and stuff like that. So what do you want us to do? I mean, what's the next thing that we have to do now? So that is our question to you.
I think at the end of the day, the true worth of an entrepreneur is not when he's high and mighty or he's having that good business, but the true worth of an entrepreneur is when he is down. How can he bring himself up back? This is the words of Sadatin Kopek, in the Etu series.
Really? You said that?
Anyway. No, he didn't say that, but because he's my favorite character, so I use his name as a moniker. So what I'm trying to say is that as a person or as an entrepreneur, what is our biggest asset that we have? The biggest asset that we have is actually not our expertise in like coding or e-commerce platforms or product knowledge. But actually, the biggest asset that we have as an individual is actually our intellect or our thinking skills or our mind. So we have, if we really sit down and think hard and think through and put our minds to it, then only we will able to climb up again. That's why a lot of people always say, you don't put your eggs in one basket. I mean, example, if you are an online platform, doesn't mean that you are only catering to a certain market segment. I mean, after a while, you should think ahead, like market A, I have this product, so why don't I start something because I'm good at e-commerce or I have this platform, why don't I enlarge or extend this platform to target market B, for example, right? And also that's why I'm doing multiple businesses because a lot of people think I'm crazy. I mean, people like Ridjal, Fadzlin, Shawal,
Yeah, you
think that
are.
I'm crazy.
No, I don't think. I know.
Effendi, I don't know. Maybe Effendi think I'm a nut job. So, but the thing for me is, I don't see it that way. I see that what I have is from a small platform. I just enlarge that platform to have different ideas to come, and then involving different groups of people to come and to do business. And sometimes some of these things work. A lot of times, most of these things do not work. But this is trial and error, and this is the job of an entrepreneur actually, to try to mess around, to think out of the box, to push the envelope, to do things a little bit different, and then until you find that sweet spot. So for me, my advice, let's say if it's going to be difficult to sell online, or if you're a person who is totally illiterate in computers or whatever, and then now that person is sitting down without any idea of how to go online and all that. But think through it. What I see now is I've discussed with Ridjal also, is a lot of people now are using FB Live to sell their items actually.
You mean
Like
auction?
they
Auctions, is it?
using auction. Yeah. I mean, rather than just joining a FB group where there are 17,000 sellers and 3 people who are buying, I mean, why don't you just open an FB Live and do an auction? You showcase your products. You talk about that product. Sometimes you don't know how to do copywriting. You don't know how to do landing pages, blah, blah, blah. But you are on the ground before. You are on the bazaar before. Your strength is your sales through your skills of selling. So sell on this platform. This is the way. You see, now this is the COVID-19 situation. A lot of people, their immune system is down and all that. So what do? You can even sell. See, like this black seed oil that I have. Alamak, my background is creating me. You see, this is good for you. You just sell it. You just drink 1 spoon a day. Inshallah, your immune system will go up. So
So
find
memang kita
ways
selit
and
daun lah.
avenues to sell all the time. That's all.
Is this an online marketing?
So what I'm saying is, don't give up hope. Talk to people, increase your networking. Networking is very, very, very important. Sometimes you talk with other business owners, then sometimes it hits you. Yeah, why didn't I think of this? Why didn't I think of that? And when you have more network with friends who are business people, sometimes you need help from this logistics example, or supplies for example, or pricing for example. Because you have your network, you have built your network, then just a few phone calls, a few meetings, you'll resolve your situation, you resolve your problem. No man is an island. If it takes a whole village to raise a baby, so how more a business, how you need people, you need teams, you need ideas, you need the whole people you actually, not say to come in and get involved, but to actually support you from behind. So don't be, a bit stuck up, don't be aloof. We business people, we have to learn how to be humble. Humility is very important. And if we go with our honesty, my word is gold, then you will create trust, not only with the people whom you sell, but the people who do business with you, who supply to you and all that. and then that's how my internet connection is unstable. I don't know why, but this is how you develop as a person. One of the things, this thing about studying, Shawal mentioned, right? I mean, before you start business, you go and learn. And this is in the tradition. So one time, one person, he was in the time of Omar Khattab, who he said he wants to do business. Yeah. Omar who told him that no, you spend 3 days in the masjid, you learn. So in the masjid, how do you what do you learn about business in masjid? Actually, the first thing you learn about doing business is probably things like ethics. Like my father always say, when you want to do business, you must be honest and you don't be greedy. You have to learn honesty. That means what when I say it's one, it's really one. And then what is the tactics of the business? The Prophet used to tell us, if you sell 1 kilo of flour, for example, you give 1 kilo and you give a bit more. You see, these are the things that we have to learn, you see, and these things we learn first. We develop our character. And why in business, out of the 10 doors of sustenance, 9 doors are for business people. It's not because business is good or what, but it's because a person who is into entrepreneurship, is doing his own business, he develops more tawakkal or dependence towards his creator. Right? When the chips are down, when no one is coming to me, I have nobody to talk even. Then when I ask from my creator, from my sustainer, suddenly there's a door there's light at the end of the tunnel. And then that's where, you develop that faith in yourself also. And you learn to be thankful, you learn to be humble. Then when a person comes across to you who is in the same trouble as you were before, you have that empathy, you have that sense of mission to help out also. So entrepreneurs, people who are in commerce, they are actually I would say the superstars or the superheroes of the community from the advent of Islam till now. So it is time that if we are doing business, we should have a big heart and we should have a stronger vision to not only help ourselves but to actually pull everyone up, to become better person, to become a better community. So, okay, I stop here for timing.
Okay, Rijal, you got anything to add to whatever Adli has already mentioned? But I think whatever Adli has already mentioned is gold. Seriously, very, very, very impressive lah, I would say. So, Rijal, do you have anything to add on that?
I think it's a very good reminder. Thank you, Adli. Nak add apa? Tanya Shawal lah. Shawal, dia dah makan ubat, dia nak tidur.
Any tips, any tips and advice?
Basically, whatever we do in this life, kan, end of the day, we as Muslim, kita punya matlamat adalah syurga, kan. So when we run business, profits is important, but it is not the main thing. Okay. So when we run business, also sometimes we have agreement, we have contracts, and sometimes the contracts favor us, but kita pun kena ada sifat ihsan, so the contract may favor us, but we know, if we proceed with that contract, follow to the letter, then our vendor or our partners or whoever, then they will be suffering. So for us, kalau boleh, let's do come up with a win-win situation, So so kita ada kena sifat ihsan lah when we do this business, and what you call this, and yeah, it's a test for us. So yeah, so our values, as a person, as a businessman, as a Muslim, it's really good when we do business, we practice all of this lah.
Last advice and tips for our viewers?
Okay, I just want to add, right? I think I agree with Fadzlin. What Adli say is fantastic, is gold. I think what he hit upon was the strength, right? Individual strength. What he said is that if you're used to selling at the bazaar, why don't you do live? Because I mean that's a natural progression. People can, I mean, if you go to a bazaar, the outstanding sellers have certain personality, the way they talk to customers and all that. that is something that you can easily bring through FB Live. That can it be brought on the e-commerce platform or something like that. But I guess that's a good starting point. And moving forward, he needs to, they need to decide whether they want to go online fully and have an online presence, but nonetheless, I think I agree with Adli. If you're at the bazaar, FB Live is definitely something that you need to consider uh, very carefully. Yeah.
Okay, Rijal, you got anything to add?
I think it's a time of challenge for a lot of business owners. So the same thing that I shared yesterday kat Sujimi punya podcast recording is that during these times when you're faced with adversity, challenge and setbacks, for business owners, don't hilangkan diri or malu because of embarrassment or shame, you pull yourself away. But we are here for each other. Turn to your friends, be closer and take comfort and consolation from each other. Don't retreat alone out of shame or embarrassment. There's nothing to be shameful or embarrassed about when you are faced with setbacks or you're looking at failure, because that's temporary. Like Adli said, the strength of the entrepreneur is his ability to use his brains to overcome and find opportunities. Yeah.
Okay, I think it has been a very good, I would say 1 hour and 1 hour over, coming up to 2 hours already, right?
Oh,
How time flies.
2 hours? Oh my god, okay. Tak lah. Kita yang set up solid aja dah setengah jam.
Okay,
Pilih background lagi setengah jam.
ada kru lagi, pingsan. Okay,
Nanti we do another session lah. Abang Kadir merajuk, dia tak ada
yeah,
apa.
that's why I just read his comment. Right, I think we should have these kind of sessions more often. I think it's a good learning session, and it's also a good point. I mean, it's also a good platform for us to keep our silaturahim lah, kan? Especially in these current times, and most of us will be spending most of the time at home, kan? Right. So yeah, like most of what you guys have already mentioned, I still feel that online platform is one of the option that we can definitely need to look at lah. But rather than just rely on the owner or the admin of that particular online punya platform, we should do our part as well lah. Right. And I think Facebook Live rather than organic posting, Facebook Live is definitely one way of how we can direct that traffic back to that online platform, right? So like what I've already mentioned previously, we use online, market online, bring back to offline. Now offline is totally out of the equation, but we direct it back to that online platform, right? What do you guys think?
yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you are quite hit by the offline off, because you are an organizer of mega events, So, I mean, how do you reconcile or how do you overcome this big challenge that I feel that you are facing now, Fadzlin?
Since the news came out pertaining to Ramadan Bazaar being cancelled, I got a lot of vendors coming up to me and asking me, "Hey, look, we got a lot of products that we already ordered, and we got a lot of overheads and stuff, So what do we do next?" And it doesn't come from one or two. In fact, it comes from a lot of them, lah. So it has become a concern for me because now that I cannot provide whatever I've already been providing them for so long, right? So one way that I can think of right now is for me to do online, creating a marketplace where I will invite my vendors because I have most of them and basically willing to come in already. So it's about creating that platform, creating that marketplace, inviting them to come in, and I'll do my part again, like what I've already been doing offline, which is to market the online platform, to sell it, to advertise it, and to encourage traffic to come in. Right, that's the thing. But like that being said, I think other people can also come out with their own online platform. I think it's good to have many because I think it's good for the market as well lah. I think right, people will want to diversify. For example, kedaisujimi.com may target a certain group of audience. My marketplace might target a group of audience. So it's good that we are all in this together like in that sense. The most important thing, like what each and every one of you guys have already mentioned, is not to put anyone down lah, especially in these current times. So what Rijal has already mentioned, we have to be supportive, and that's what we need to go, and that's what we need to do, right? So yeah, so I guess that is one way that we can look at lah, right? So any last words from you guys before we go?
Wish all the merchants all the best. Don't lose hope. Find opportunities, and yeah, we will support you. We will buy from you, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Because like Ali say, the money must circulate, money must flow. Arigato
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, true.
Where did I heard that arigato money? Effendi, any last word? Shawal?
Yes, for me, I just want to take the opportunity to say to everyone, I know the situation look bleak, but it's a temporary situation, and as Adli has said earlier, is our mental capacity, and that will push us through. So just hang on and figure out and try something different. Just try something rather than just give up.
Shawal?
Yeah, I think for those macam first time buat online everything, important thing is jangan oversell, jangan over promise, just do your best, biar sales sikit, as long as you deliver, make customer happy, keep your promise lah. That's important lah.
Right. Adli, any last word? And maybe
Yeah.
end this with a doa ke?
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I say about Effendi mentioned about mental capacity and all that, but actually, to be honest, I'm really not that mentally stable also. I mean, I suffer certain periods of depression. So, I mean, just few days ago, my cat gave birth, so I was very depressed and current situation and all that. And then furthermore, when I'm under stress and all that, I normally, spend a bit of time in the masjid to look for that quantum of solace, just like James Bond. But
Sekarang masjid
unfortunately
tutup,
now even the mosques are closed and all that. So really lah, we really have to kata orang tu adapt to the situation. And then like what Rijal mentioned, if you are down and out, don't just disappear from the scene. Still go to the forefront. With all humility, still make friends, still keep in contact. Silaturahim is one of the ways to open the doors of sustenance for us. The silaturahim doesn't just mean our family members only. It means that whoever that we know lah. And actually, to silaturahim is to mend ties that are broken with the other party, where you make the first move to actually mend that ties, and that takes a lot of courage and a lot of strength to be that person to move forward. So always be that person of strength. Always come from that position of strength. To the hand that gives is better than the hand that receives. When you are in always that position where you're always in the mode of helping, Allah SWT will make sure that inshallah you will not be the person to be that person who will be at the receiving end. That means your honor will be protected. I'm not saying that I'm the best. I also owe a lot of people money, but I appreciate that people who are lending money, they're also very kind and all that. So this gives me a lesson. It teaches me a lesson that people also owe me money, but it doesn't mean that I have to, dishonor them in front of people, talk about them and all that. Because this is life. This is life, We respect others and inshallah, others also will respect us. Respect begets respect. Okay, so this is the dua. So may Allah SWT, ease us through these difficult times. May Allah SWT give us this peace of mind and this strength to carry on. And may Allah SWT use our life and our wealth as a benefit to ourselves, our family members, our neighbors, our relatives, and the whole ummah and whole earth, inshallah.
Amin ya Rabbal.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your coming in, spend time with us. doing this video call and all that. So inshallah, we look forward to the next one, inshallah. Yeah. Right. So
Inshallah.
my best wishes to each and every one of yours. And I also like to say good night to all of you guys lah. So thank you very much, Effendi, for coming in and all that. Yeah, Shawal, Adlee, and Rijal.
Thank
So
you.
till the next one,
Okay,
guys.
thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
inviting me.
Take care, guys. Till
Alright.
then. Assalamualaikum.
Bye.
Without.
Okay, X je.